This was thinking that it's running a little bit, what did it say? It was running like a little bit lean, or it was like breaking up?
Yeah,
right?
it was breaking up. It was like, I like it wouldn't let me fully boost or something. So I'm hoping it's my spark plugs.
Yeah.
I'm maxing out my injectors.
Yeah, we did a little dialogue, and his injectors look fine. So we're thinking about the other three things, which is crucial, is air, fuel, and spark. So we already eliminated fuel, so now we're gonna do spark. So let's see how it goes. All right, so first things first, you want to take off your intake, which is on there by a hose clamp, a sensor, and a bolt if you have one. And then once you start getting to that, you have really good access down here, as you can see. Right here's your coil pack. That's your cylinder number 3, size 12, I believe. To remove those bolts, so let me go get that. Okay. So when doing these spark plugs are actually not that hard as it may seem like. I know on the memes, like you might see like the Subaru mechanic with the tiny ass arms, but you don't need those tiny ass arms. But you just need to be smart. So make your life a little bit easier. Especially if you get to the back ones, you want to jack it up. That way you can jack up the motor.
Is it a lot?
No.
That should be long, man.
So right there is the motor mount. It's behind the headers. So after we jack up the motor a little bit, I have access to this bolt now. You just loosen it by hand after you crack it loose. So to get these out, I learned that twist them one way and they come out like that. So same with this one. Twist them that way, they'll come out. Some to the side. If you ever get lost, just remember that this Subarus are pretty racist, so the whites go in the front and the blacks are in the back. Just in case you ever forget. I'm being serious. So next thing you want to grab is your spark plug socket. Make sure it's 5/8, preferably with the wobble head, because as you can tell, we don't have very much space. So I'll get these out of here. Start with the first cylinder. Alright, that one's loose.
First one about to pop out.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, they are a little bit white. They're a little bit worn out. Maybe the gap is not as good, but as long as I believe as long as it's not like completely white, if it's a little bit black like this, it's totally fine.
I'm gonna put it back in. I'll return the other ones.
So you just put that there. Grab our new one. And you only need one spark plug to make the car idle or perform bad. So maybe the other ones are bad. Who knows? So put this one in. Careful to not damage the tip of it. And always thread it in by hand first, because I've seen a lot of people that'll cross thread them. And if you want to get that fixed on these cars, you have to pull the motor and take out the heads for that, which is a really painful mistake. So just thread it in by hand. Once it starts to get a little bit tight, like how it is kind of right now, go ahead and grab the ratchet. Some people, they like to torque the spec, but there's fine. They don't need a lot of torque.
No weak specs here.
So it's pretty much the same procedure on this side. Just crack it loose, and then we'll just get back to you on when we get to the other side, because the other side's a little bit more trickier. Plug's tight in there. Just remember that white goes in the front, like so. This black one, it has to go with this bracket over here. So the way that works is this bracket goes in between that bolt like that, and then you thread it in. So after you get that started, you can go ahead, there it goes. And then just tying it back up the same way we loosened it, and we'll get back to you on the other side. So when you get to this side, you want to take out the battery. So I always like to start with the ground. Get that out of the way, that way there's no charge going to the battery. And then get rid of these brackets over here. Something like that. Set that aside. And then just pop this one off. After you get that off, you can go ahead and start pull the battery up. There it goes. Okay. So after you get that, you pretty much have all the space you need. Okay, so now it's pretty much the same procedure as last time, as over there. So take off these 12mm bolts, and then we'll just get back to you when we get to it. As you can see, there's not that much space on this side, especially to get a ratchet in on that back one, but trust me, I can make it work. The same principle. Just get this thing started right there. And then get my small ratchet in here. And then you can crack it loose.
Fucking games.
And that's all you really need to crack it loose, because you can just take the rest off by hand, but I think they might have put, oh, there it goes. Those being pretty stubborn. So yeah, make sure if you get a socket set for spark plugs, it's really critical to get one with a wobbly head, because it'll make your life 20 times easier. If you try using like a regular one, like a regular 5/8, you'll find that you're gonna have a little bit of trouble taking it out, because they don't have the magnetic tip that these special ones have. So that's why they sell separately.
How much is one of those?
I don't know. You can even rent one if you want to. Like you can rent one like at AutoZone. I think the deposit fee is however much it is, like 20 bucks maybe, and then you get the money back once you return the tool.
Alright.
See, this one's not as black as the other ones compared to these ones. It's just, but they are really heavily rich. So
They're pussies, they can't fucking handle the stock horsepower.
So if you haven't changed your spark plugs out in a while, just they are on there pretty tough, because they go through a lot of heat cycles. If you think about it, like how many times have you done a cold start since you changed the spark plug? So if you're noticing like, oh, like they're really hard to take out, that's probably why. They all look like they've gone through a lot of life. None of them are like shocking out to me, but.
And just so you guys do know, I don't have an air pump in this car, which made it a lot easier.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just trying to change it out. Actually, I think that's running. I'm not sure if you can see it. Where it actually touches, it's like white. So I'm guessing if you got pre-detonation, because the other ones they're not. Or actually, they're like that too. But I think this one has a closer spark plug gap. It's kind of hard to tell on camera.
Yeah, it is.
And then start it by hand. If it doesn't start smoothly the first couple turns, just back off and bring back your coil packs. I threw mine behind the block just because they were getting in the way. And with these, there's nothing attached to them. They're just, you just go straight in. Unlike the other side, it came with a little bracket. That one's in. Okay. So yeah, white's up front, black's in the back. No brackets. Good connect. So there you go. I think it's still 10.
Yep.
What? Jesus is working on his car?
I know.
Good thing we saved the best for last for him.
Right.
So pretty much that's all. That's gonna wrap it up. Battery's tight. Air filter is on there good. Make sure, double check your work. Make sure everything's all connected good. Don't leave tools up here. And should be good for a test drive after he gets off that sensor, or gets on the sensor. We're gonna take it out for a little drive. See how the new spark plugs do. In case you were wondering why it was almost having trouble starting up, it was just because like the car is, like it has new spark plugs, so like obviously it's gonna take a couple of tries to get them to ignite.